Welcome to another episode of BDO Northern Ireland Beyond the Numbers, where BDO engage with their key stakeholders to give some insights to our clients and other stakeholders about things that may interest them. And today we are going to be talking to Professor Danielle McConville, Head of the Accounting Department at Queen's Business School. So welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us today.
No worries, it's really good to see you, Laura.
And we see each other a lot. So despite me having a role here, so I'm Head of Audit at BDO, I also hold a role at Queen's Business School where I'm one of their honorary professors. So I'm so privileged I get to work with these two amazing organisations. And today I just really want to bring those together to share with you the insights from both of them. One of the key things that we want to talk about today is the things that Danielle and I get asked about when we're out and about in our community, in our Indigenous business community, with our friends. And that is, how do you get into accounting? What's the best route? What's this new course about? My child's good at maths, should they be an accountant? And of course we get asked these questions all the time, Danielle, and there's nobody better to answer those questions than Danielle. So the first question I sort of want to talk to you about, Danielle, is this new programme. So we have a new programme at the Queen's Business School called the Masters in Advanced Accounting with Placement. Easy for me to say.
Sorry.
Yeah, big title. And the placement bit is important for employers like me. So what was the thinking behind this new course?
We've been talking to employers like yourself for many, many years. And one of the things that we kept being told was we would love to see more graduates coming into accounting, and we'd love to have more people coming through the accounting pathway and then coming into professional organisations like yourself, at least with some of their professional qualifications already in the bag from their full-time studies. So that was part of the story. Another part of the story was that Chartered Accountants Ireland actually changed some of their rules around how they grant accreditation or they grant exemptions from professional exams. So really what happened was we knew there was a demand and we saw an opportunity to be able to create this new course. And really when we sat down to think about the new course, there were a number of things that we really wanted to make sure we could do. We wanted to make sure that we maximise the professional exemptions that our students could get with us.
They're tough.
They are tough. And
they are tough.
Yeah, you and I have both been through that process ourselves.
Actually,
we're funny, we're both Queen's graduates.
Yes.
And, you know, we came out of our accounting degrees and then we still had to do further exams.
Yes.
And, you know, like every set of exams that you have to do is usually a year of classes, self-study, a lot of that's now online, and work at the same time, and quite often you're getting used to the working world as well. So our feeling was that the higher the level of exemptions we could get for the students as a result of this programme, the better. We were also conscious we have some fantastic students on our course. We wanted to stretch them and we wanted to show what they were capable of.
We really do.
Yeah,
students are brilliant.
Our students are fantastic, and actually one of the things about the MAC is that it is a MAC, it is a master's level qualification, so it's a higher level qualification than a BSc in accounting.
Yes.
The other thing we really wanted to build in was placement. Now, building placement into an accounting degree can be quite tricky.
Yes.
And there's two reasons for that. One is because genuinely employers often aren't particularly responsive to the idea of a traditional year-long placement, because quite often they're going to take students on a training contract.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of it. The other part of it is we tend to have a really, really busy curriculum because we're trying to do things like getting the maximum amount of exemptions for the students. So some of the things that we brought together into the MAC and what we think really sets the MAC apart are the fact that it's a master's level qualification, the fact that it has an inbuilt placement with employers like yourselves, and the fact that it attracts the maximum exemptions from Chartered Accountants Ireland. So our students, for those who are familiar with those exams, our students are fully exempt from CAP 1 and CAP 2, providing that they get obviously the right scores in the relevant modules.
So they just have to do their final admitting exam with their firms. Correct. Whenever they come out, which is I use this word too much, a game changer, because the old traditional way was you'd either 3 years to do or 3.5 years to do.
Yeah.
You're learning the ropes of a new job, usually in an auditing department, and trying to study as well. And there's so much information for those professional exams, and they are really tough.
Yep.
So to be able to do that and gain a master's, is unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that you know is relevant there as well is the fact that, you know, CAP 2 is actually a really hard set of exams to do.
Technical.
It's really technical, that's exactly it. And actually for me, I think the ability of our students, and certainly that's the feedback that we've had because we're in our first year now, their experience has been so much better. They're learning in an environment that they're used to with the people that they know, and actually it has made a really big difference to them.
Do you mind me asking, is there anywhere else in the UK and Ireland you could get this sort of experience or this sort of course? Because I don't believe there is, from my experience.
No, not with what we've put together, not the fact that it's master's level with the full Cap 2 and also has a placement built into it as well. And I think one of the things that kind of sets our course apart from other potential pathways, because like there are other pathways out there.
There are.
And actually, I have to say, I mean, I'm really lucky to work where I work, and actually to teach the students that I teach. But actually, I'm really aware that actually our profession needs lots of people to come from lots of different pathways.
That's right.
But I am aware, you know, one of the things that we want to do with our pathway was really to make sure that students were as well set up as they could be. So one of the things that we've been able to do, because I mean, a lot of us have taught for Chartered over the years, and a lot of us were actually teaching higher level Cap 2 type content, even in levels 2 and 3. So one of the things we were able to do with the level 4 and what allowed us to put the placement in was that actually we were able to reach back through those years for those students. So what it means is you're not trying to do Cap 2 in year 4. And that's what gave us the opportunity. That's what made year 4 doable in terms of the content for the students, but also to put in the placement.
And certainly I can say, as an employer of Queen's graduates, when we had Queen's graduates in, we certainly knew when they came to do Cap 2, traditionally they had covered a lot of it anyway before coming to us anyway. So there was that stretch already there. So it's not that we're cramming Cap 2 into 1 year with the placement. How does that placement work, or how do students identify placements or go on placements? Is that something they have to do themselves? Is that something the university does for them? And how has that worked out?
Queen's Business School has a really long history of offering placements. So we have actually a dedicated placement office who support our students in seeking their placements.
Yes.
There are really 2 routes for placement in level 4. So we have some students who already have their graduate jobs. It's usually where a lot of places reach out. A lot of students do internships in year 1 and year 2. Quite often have their graduate job, and they can go to that graduate employer for their placement.
Yes.
And that's great, and that's really easy for them. But what we also have is we would also have a cohort of students who've maybe got to the end of year 3 and haven't secured a graduate offer as yet. And they're obviously thinking about their graduate offer. They might be thinking about applying at that time at the end of year 3. And actually what happens with the placement process is that actually what we do is we build a bank of placements that are available. So we work really closely with employers like yourselves to make you aware of what's, you know, what we need for the students, you know, because obviously we want to make sure that our students have a great experience on placement and that they actually get a really good learning journey as well. So we work quite closely with students to build a bank of placements that offer that.
Yeah.
The placements typically are between 8 and 10 weeks long. You know, we will work with people to, you know, build in things like mentoring. The students do a reflective review of their time on placement and things like that. And you know, we work with employers to set that up. So we've just had our first year. And we were really delighted last year that our first year, which was taking students who were our year 3 students and then chose to stay. Yeah, so that first year we were actually able to place all of our students with employers. We've got now 60 students who've chosen to stay out of a cohort of 90 from last year. So, you know, our students are really seeing the value of it. And actually so are our employers.
So as a parent of, you know, children who are 17 and 19, I know I don't look that old, but you are looking at financial considerations, and I think it is important. And I guess we don't talk about this in Northern Ireland. We're maybe a bit funny about talking about money, but it's the 4th year, and is that funded, or is that the same cost as an undergraduate year? Or because when I did my postgraduate diploma and masters, I know it was quite expensive. Much more expensive than my undergraduate degree. So how does the cost of the 4th year work out?
So what we have is we have an integrated undergraduate degree, which is an even more of a mouthful than the Mac. But basically what that means is the students actually transfer onto a 4-year integrated undergraduate program, which means they pay undergraduate fees. So undergraduate fees currently are sitting at around £4,800. Postgraduate fees, if you were paying for a standalone master's, would be around the £9,000 mark.
Yes, so about 50%.
Yeah, absolutely that. Now, what we could also tell you is for most students who go out and do a placement, they will be paid by their employer. Now, the rate at which they're paid is usually set by their employer.
Yes.
Quite often it's around a graduate kind of recruitment type salary that they would be paid a portion of. And actually what we're finding is for our students, that covers their fees for that final year.
Wow.
That would also be for, as I say, for those students who are actually paying their own fees, because one of the things we are aware of is that students who already have a graduate job, is that there are plenty of employers out there who actually are happy to sponsor those fees. So those students have their year 4 fees paid for, and then they're using their placement income as kind of
So
expenses.
if you're really smart about it, you pay for your 3 years undergrad, you find an employer who pays for year 4,
Yeah.
and you actually end up with a master's degree
Correct.
for the price of those 3 years.
Correct.
That actually seems unbelievable in
Yeah.
terms of a value for money proposition. You know,
Yeah,
that is really, really attractive.
Yeah, I mean, that was what we hoped, because
Yeah.
actually, you know, I think the fact that you have a master's level qualification, and it's also only a 4-year program, whereas if you compare it to other courses that have a placement, typically that's a year-long placement somewhere. It's a year completely out of your studies, and for some people that works really well.
Yeah.
But, you know, for most students, that's not necessarily what they want to do, and it means that they have a 4-year course and they walk out with a BSc, as opposed to, for us, they walk out with the MAC.
Do you have to be really good at maths to be an accountant?
No.
I know. It's like the worst kept secret, isn't it?
It is. I mean, and what we want is we want people who are comfortable with numbers, because
Yes.
actually accounting is a people business. It's about building trust with people.
Yes.
It's about relationships. It's about being able to communicate with people, and actually being able to quite often persuade people of things.
Yes.
To tell a story that quite often uses numbers, or to persuade.
I'm very
people.
bad. I often say, well, can they work a calculator? Because I work a calculator and use Excel quite a lot.
Yeah.
So that's important. But
Yeah.
being, you know, a mathematical genius, or being, you know, maths being your strongest subject, we've definitely seen people come through the business school without a maths A level and do quite well.
So one thing to say is that actually maths A level is not a prerequisite for accounting. People are constantly surprised by this.
I
But
know.
that's because maths A level actually is really mathematical in that kind of pure maths, algebra, calculus kind of way.
Yeah.
And that's actually not what we need in accounting. In accounting, as I say, it's about being confident with numbers and able to communicate. So actually, to be honest with you, if somebody's coming to me and saying, oh, I don't have A-level maths, I'm like, well, that's fine. Our prerequisite is a GCSE maths grade B.
Yes.
Now, if you come to me and you tell me you've really enjoyed your business studies, actually, I'm probably going to say to you, gosh, so did I, and that's how
I do, yeah, me
that's
too.
how I
I
ended
really
up
enjoyed
here.
my business studies, yeah.
And that's exactly it, because actually it's more about business. And I think particularly sometimes, because sometimes people chat to me and they say, oh, well, what's the difference between, for example, an accounting degree and a finance degree? And a finance degree is much more mathematical. It's much more focused on financial institutions.
Yes.
Whereas if you're interested in businesses and how businesses work and how finances move within business, actually, you're accounting.
And that's the nice part of being, this is the nice part of my job, right? So
Yeah.
it's the client relationships, it's understanding business
Yep.
models. I love all that.
Yeah.
All that stuff makes me, and you do too. You're smiling that bit.
It's
Seeing
the
how
I miss.
the bit that you're missing.
Yeah.
So other bits I want to touch on, if that's okay. So
Right.
we're going to hear from Patrick in a minute, who is one of who came in the first cohort of placements, and I'm delighted to say is joining BDO. But there's 2 other initiatives that we run with the Queen's Business School. We run the NI Schools Business Challenge in conjunction with the Henderson Group, which is for lower 6th students who are studying business studies. C, I should say C are involved in this too. We write a real life case study based on the Henderson Group, and we send it out, and then what happens?
We map it to C as business studies curriculum.
Correct.
So actually, you know, the students are actually working on a real life case study that's also really helping them to prepare for their exams. We send it out to schools, and generally it's quite often business studies teachers and careers teachers, and they tend to put together teams of students, do it differently in different
it's
skills.
the highlight of my year listening to these teams.
It's fabulous, because what they do is they come and they do a presentation to us in their small teams of, you know, between sort of usually about 4 and 6.
Yes.
And they come and do these presentations to us, and they present generally to somebody from Queen's, somebody from Henderson's, and somebody from BDO.
I know. It's a day out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the winning teams actually amazingly get up and then present in front of their peers as well. And then, you know, we crown a winner and there are prizes and all of those sorts of
Look at
things.
the top 3 teams every year, so
Yeah.
they present back, which is great, because those who maybe haven't made the top 3 can look at the top 3 and look at their solutions and think,
Absolutely.
what can I learn from that? What can
Yeah.
I apply? Because in lower 6 you do your AS business studies at the end, so what can I apply? Which is great. And I just look at them and all thinking, can I have done that when I was in lower 6?
Some of them are just amazing.
So good. So then later in June,
Yeah.
which we planned, so this will be the 3rd year of the Business Insight programme.
Goodness.
Which I can't believe, which initially came from an idea. Well, I get asked, we're laughing, I get asked all the time, can my child come in and work experience?
Yeah.
And work experience is something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
Mentoring is something I'm really passionate about. So we put a lot of effort. In fact, we start in October planning the Business Insight programme in June, which is a 3-day programme with Queen's Business School and ourselves. I love it because people come from everywhere. We had somebody from Enniskillen this year. We had somebody from Coleraine.
Yeah.
The year before we had somebody who flew over from England to participate.
Yeah.
I might get in trouble because I'm told to cap the numbers. I'm not very good at that. But we do usually have a waiting list for this programme.
Yeah,
We do. But I think if you go through the Business Insight program, it really helps you decide if you want to be an accountant, you don't want to be an accountant, which is fine.
Yeah.
If you want to maybe be a management graduate, if you want to be a finance person, but actually it's really good, isn't it, for the CV and all the personal statement and all those things.
Exactly that. And you know, I mean, I think, as you say, I think the insight that it gives them into a number of things is really, really valuable. One of the things I love is it gives them a really good sense of BDO actually as well. Not just when they're here on day 2 in the office, absolutely taking over your offices here.
Absolutely taking over the offices.
But actually, I think one of the lovely things is that they get, even from the day 1, because they start on the case study and they start on working on the case study in their teams in day 1. And one of the things I love is that you guys as partners and really senior people within your organisation come and give up your time to kind of role play, and for role play as the client, and the students come and they ask folks about different aspects of the case study.
We do like an audit piece, a tax piece, and a consultancy piece. So we have audit partner and directors, tax partner directors, advisory partner directors, so the students can come. And I think until you have exposure to that, you mightn't understand what those streams do in professional service.
Absolutely.
Maybe you do, but maybe just a bit more in depth about, what are the tax considerations, or I actually like that, or that's changed. So that's really good.
And that actually informs internships going forward, because one of the really nice things is that what we're seeing is we're now seeing cohorts of students who have come through the Business Insight program and are now coming into our level 2 and our level 1s, and they know each other from then. And it just means, well, first of all, on day 1 you knew somebody that otherwise you might not have known if nobody else coming from your school. But also actually as well, it informs their internship choices later on.
And we'll bring in Patrick then, just to get Patrick's viewpoint on what he thinks.
I think we should.
Welcome to Patrick McCarthy. So aside from being a Down GAA All-Star, is that right? Quarterback, not All-Star just yet, not All-Star just yet, and an award-winning Mac student. Patrick was first in the year and also got an award for audit and tax. So we've touched on those 2 streams, but obviously you really enjoy audit. We just wanted to get some of your insights and first-hand experience of being first year on the placement and at BDO. So I just guess I just would have maybe just say to you, what have you sort of thought about some of the things Danielle and I chatted about?
Yeah, it's all very interesting. Probably wish I had the chance to take part in the VIP when I was lower 6. It wasn't about back then, so it seems like an invaluable experience.
Did you do any work experience before you came to us on placement?
I worked at a local accountant's back home but nothing. I didn't do audit or anything like that before, so that was brand new.
So this is the first year of the Masters, and we were so lucky that you decided to come to BDO. We're so grateful, and you're joining us as a trainee. What made you decide to stay on and do the extra year?
I think it was the real attraction was being able to complete your Cap 2s as a full-time student, because I know I have a few friends who went straight into work and did Cap 2s while they're working, and it seems like you're under serious pressure that way. And I feel like it was just more relaxed. Well, not really, I was still full on, but as in...
Well, you had to balance the football training at the same time, hadn't you?
You have more of a balance, and I think you get the most out of it that way as well. You get to invest most time in your studies, and now coming into employment, and I think you're in a much better position going forward, especially with the placement involved. You get that extra experience too.
What did you learn in your placement?
It was a really good experience. So coming into BDO, probably chose BDO. I did a number of interviews with other companies as well, but BDO just seemed really friendly. They're really good culture. As part of the placement, they really wanted to get me to get the most out of my experience, which was a big attraction. And then when I was doing it, I got to look at many different parts of the audit file, got a broad overview of what it's like to work as an auditor here in BDO, which is probably one of the reasons why I stayed on too, because I enjoyed it so much and got that vast experience, which I know some other places that mightn't have been the case.
And when you say you got to look at the audit file, were you actually doing what I call real life work on clients?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
You were dealing with clients, weren't you?
Yeah, and multiple different types of clients too. I was on site as well, which is a great experience too.
And if somebody was considering staying on or not staying on to do the Masters, what advice would you give them?
Through the placement and all, I have so much more experience heading into a training contract, and I've got the Cap 2s under my belt now. I don't have to worry about that this year. I've only one set of exams to do before coming chartered, so it's definitely well worth your time.
So getting a prize for being first or best overall student, getting a prize for auditing, getting a prize for tax, what advice would you give anybody, and how do you arrive at that position and balance your football and your training schedule that we talk about?
I suppose this year especially, I kept on top of my work right through the first semester, because it was pretty packed in. You have three exams, and you have to find a placement as well, and you have to research proposal too. So there's a lot on your plate in the first semester. So I feel like if you keep on top of it, it just becomes a lot more easier heading forward. Like, whereas if you leave it all to the last minute, you'd be swamped.
We often do say, and you know, you've heard me say this, when you start, you can't leave it all to the end for your professional exams. You just can't cram. So you need to make sure you're on top of it.
Yeah.
So what was your dissertation on?
So mine was AI and audit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are our auditors going to be replaced by robots? What did you find?
No, I didn't actually find that. I was actually more looking at how auditors are quite resistant to accepting AI in fear. Maybe that's probably one of the reasons why they feel like it's going to take their job. And I was just looking at ways to incorporate it so both auditors and AI can work together.
I suppose one of the things I was really aware of was, you know, there seemed to be a great buzz and a great togetherness in your cohort of students. And, you know, I think it was probably because, you know, you're the first year coming through, there's 40 of you, you know, you all knew each other really well. And I really think it made such a big difference to you because you seem to be so well together. I think you were probably carrying each other through, you know, when you have a hard day and you've got somebody great, you know, in the cohort. And I mean, I'm sure like as you were going through, particularly through class tests and then exams before Christmas and things like that. So I think that was probably a big part of the success that you all had as well.
Yeah, even from first to third year, there was over 100 students, wasn't there, in the year? And then having that narrowed down, you get to know people a lot better. You sort of lean on each other, help give each other a hand and all, and it just sort of helps you get through the whole process, definitely, yeah.
And do you feel having had the placement from January time on has prepared you for coming in October?
Yeah, 100%. Like, if I had come in this time last year, I would have been a lot more apprehensive, and like, I suppose you don't really know what to expect, but now I've got that experience. I feel like probably a lot more comfortable coming in now next month.
You know, I joined video as a trainee,
yeah.
you know, and I'm still sitting here in 2025 and I'm a partner, so there are careers and development for everybody, be it whatever they choose. So I think that's really important to be able to offer that as well. But thank you both very much. There's a lot of technical jargon in that for people who maybe don't have anybody who are accountants in their family. So I'm on all the socials where this will be posted. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But thank you to Professor Danielle McConville, Head of Accounting Department at Queen's Business School. And thank you to our new trainee who we're very grateful for his time and placement. And watch out for Patrick on the pitch and off the pitch at video and see what he gets to. And thank you for listening to Beyond the Numbers.